Hi everyone, I'm Xiao. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm a year 3 Sociology major, and last sem I took a mindfulness module with Prof. NG, and over the course of the module I learned a lot about mindfulness, and it made me dig deeper into a lot of the feelings that I've had and buried, and today I will be sharing that with you. So over the course of the mindfulness module, we learned 9 foundational attitudes on top of doing meditation practices, body scans, and etc. But today I'll be focusing on these 5 foundational attitudes that I felt have most benefited me in my journey. So in the weekly classes that we've had, one of the classes we learned about this poem, I think by Leo Tolstoy, called The Emperor's Three Questions, in which it made me realize that I have spent my life caring about everyone else's needs and feelings to the point that I have often forgotten to care about myself. When asked who is the most important person, my answer was whoever I'm with, when it should have been myself. I have always prided myself of being an empathetic and kind person, but all this while I have not been showing the same love and kindness to myself. That was a real wake-up call to reflect on how I had been looking at self-care and self-love. Since then, I have been hungry for more insights on how to improve myself with mindful practices, not to strive to be the best, but to love myself better and to put myself first. So over the course of the semester, we did cover a lot of different topics and poems, and one of them that stuck out to me the most was a poem by Portia Nelson, There's a Hole in My Sidewalk, The Romance of Self-Discovery. And the 2 lines that really hit home for me were, I pretend I don't see it, and I still fall in, it's a habit. So when I first encountered this poem, I thought it was relatable and described me all too well. My initial thought was that it was a rather absurd analogy. Surely, if you were to walk on a street and see a deep hole on the pathway, and if you were to be able to say that it was deep, it would already imply that you checked it out and you knew that it was a deep one. Then you would surely avoid it. Then it hit me with my own bad habits. I am fully aware of the implications, the consequences, and even the ways around it. And yet, I still succumb to it. The element of denial with my proclamations of it isn't my fault align with my own self-denial, which is so much easier to deal with than realizing that I am in control and that I can make choices and decisions that would lead me out of each bad habits. Only through my own agency and conscious decisions can I walk around the hole and be self-aware enough to not only recognize the bad habit, but to actively seek out solutions to improve myself. So I think this is something that I have been striving to work towards until the day I can just comfortably walk around the hole down another street. So in this poem, it covers kindness, letting go, and trusting myself. And I think these 5 attitudes are a very big part of my journey. And people always say that acceptance is the first step, recognizing that these issues that we have are important and not sweeping it under the rug. Personally, I have struggled for a very long time to accept my own feelings, my struggles, the good and the bad, and to accept that everything that I felt was perfectly valid. I would tend to tell myself that I don't have the right to complain as someone else will have it worse, and that maybe these were all just first world problems. In essence, I would just invalidate myself and my feelings, and through this course, I have realized that that was not doing myself any kindness. So for me, the very first step was to trust in this process that I could get better and that I would be able to go through this journey and love myself more. And then a very key element of it was acceptance. Acceptance and letting go, I believe, are very closely tied together. And it entails accepting firstly that things are the way that they are and that I am in control, and if I wanted to change anything, I had the agency to do so. But of course, this acceptance also ties together with the idea of knowing that there are always things that are not in my control, and those are the things that I would have to be able to let go. And the next attitude that I learned a lot about was non-striving, and through this journey, I have learned to gain a sense of perspective and reframe the way that I look at things. We tend to compare ourselves to other people, and I believe that this is not the right way, as we tend to only cherry pick what we want to see, and the grass is always deceptively greener on the other side. But truly, in reality, the grass is only green where you water it. On the other hand, there will always be someone else who seem to be having it worse, but really suffering and pleasure are all subjective. Someone else's pain and predicament should not undermine my own pain and predicament. Furthermore, we all have different thresholds. So honestly, what is the point of this never-ending spiral of comparisons? It is not about who has it better or worse, rather that we are all affected by different things triggered by our individual lived experiences, sensitivities, and trauma. And that was something that I had to swallow. Having perspective should entail awareness of the people around us. So in not comparing, we should still be mindful and aware of the people around us, as this will give us a sense of empathy for ourselves and for others. I think seeing someone else do well should not be a form of competition, but a sense of inspiration. And seeing someone else being in a more sorry state should allow us to feel more grateful for what we do have. Perspective has also allowed me to not beat myself up for overthinking, and instead I have chose to mindfully reframe this as being introspective, self-aware, and even reflective. I mean, when did thinking become such a bad thing? Ruminating over a fear or concern is often frowned upon, but I think this has also allowed me to sit with my thoughts and understand myself better as to why do I let this affect me so much. Okay, so I'm going to share more about this photo. So in this photo, I am smiling and I look very happy. It was actually my birthday, but I was not indeed happy. I was going through a very dark time in my life, and I was not practicing self-compassion and self-love. And I did not know how to draw boundaries for myself, and I was not prioritizing myself. So moving forward, over the course, I have learned that these are 3 steps that I can do to draw better boundaries and to help myself. So firstly, it sounds very simple, just to take a pause and breathe, but truly this is something, a luxury that we don't accord ourselves enough. I have learned that while going through the hustle and bustle of our lives, it is very important to just allow yourself to take a break. We are not robots, we are not conditioned to just work mindlessly. Sometimes when we hit a wall, it is time to just rest and be kind to our minds. The second main thing that I have done is actually seeking help. Talking to somebody has allowed me to gain an objective point of view and rationalize and validate all the feelings that I've had and dealt with, a lot of which I had actually just buried away, thinking that I was okay. But being able to talk to someone, it may not even have to be like a professional, it can just be a close friend or family member. This is a very important and helpful way of dealing with anxiety, as if you just leave it to yourself, you tend to just fall into a never-ending spiral, and talking to somebody can help you get out of it. So the third thing that I've actually been trying out over summer is Mindline, which includes an AI chatbot and like guided meditation practices. This is very helpful for youth who feel like they don't have anyone to talk to, and I truly have felt like this was able to give me a sense of calm in like a quick 5 minutes. Yeah. Most importantly, I feel like surrounding myself with the people that I love and I know care about me has been the most important step. Over summer, I have been able to talk to my family more about how I have been dealing or not dealing, and I think the open conversation has helped a lot. And talking to my parents about how I have really been struggling and having open communication has changed a lot of things. I no longer stress about them. no longer stressed about wondering how they would react, and instead I would just talk to them and tell them openly, like, oh, actually I've had a bad day, or actually I think I need this support. And I think being able to have a support system has been truly one of the things I have been most grateful for. So in the picture, there is my younger sister, my brother, his girlfriend, and my parents. And over summer, I have been very, very close to them, and just being able to talk to them and share about my life, about stressful things that happen, like internship or school even, has been utmost useful in my journey. So to which I am very grateful. Yeah. To end off, I will just like to share one of my favorite quotes. The sun will rise and we will try again. And this quote has guided me through a lot of my very, very, very worst days, in which it gave me hope that no matter how bad the day, week, month, or even year has been, that if I wanted to, I could make the very next day a better one and start over. But in this photo, we see a sunset. And it marks the end of the day. And of course, this picture is gorgeous. But I also realized over summer that and every ending can also mark a new beginning, and that is in itself very beautiful. And I've come to realize that I don't have to wait for a new start. I don't have to wait for a new morning, a new day to begin. I can just start wherever I am, and that I am in control of my own happiness, and it should come from within. And through this journey, I have come to realize that no matter what I have gone through, that I always have the choice to just start again. Okay, thank you.